Small Talk is the show where we express ourselves with small randomness. We fill every show with something different. There is no topic too big or too small for us to cover. Our show doesn't have a real path that we follow, and that's what makes it fun to watch. So let's get to the show. Hi guys, welcome to Small Talk. I know, it's been a real long time. So I just thought we'd play catch up today. Oh, is that focusing, Taylor? When I move? So I might be a little in and out, not in and out, but like fuzzy and clear, because I think we forgot to take the autofocus off this camera. It's okay, Taylor, it's all fine. So we're in, if you notice, we're in the Aurora room. This is where I normally do my show. There's a lot going on today, hence why we started off a little late. It's okay, you know, it's Monday. I had to get a large coffee today because I definitely need that extra energy. I don't know about you guys, but I've been a bit sluggish lately. Just can't get with it. I don't know if anyone else has ever felt like that. It's just like I'm hitting a wall. It's like I'm just done. Need a vacation is basically what's come down to. Need some time off, which that is coming up. Not a vacation per se, but I took a weekend off just because I need some me time. I'm hitting a wall, and there's just a lot going on. I'm surprised hasn't eliminated to like a breakdown of some sort. Not that that has happened, but I mean, I'm sure some of you have ever felt like where life is just suffocating you just because like your day-to-day life is chaotic, busy, and just, you know, you just got a lot going on. I do this, I work, and then I have a bit of a social life, not a whole lot of a social life, but a bit, enough. And it's like I make time for family, I make time for this and that, and I'm very much trying to get on the making some time for me boat. Isn't something I'm very good at. Zach will often sit there and say, would you just sit down? Because sometimes I just pace around the apartment doing stuff, whether it's playing with the dog or cleaning or folding laundry or something, just basic house chores. Because he has this notion where when he's home, he can turn work off because he's a mechanic, so it's easy to do. I can't always turn work off physically or metaphorically, because whether I'm getting better at turning it off up here, but I'm an editor, so, you know, often I have to bring work home with me, and that's just, you know, it's like a teacher. It's one of those downfalls. And it's just one of those things where it's like, you gotta make time for you, right? Is something that's kind of hard to do. So I said, you know what, I'm just gonna take a weekend off. We're not going anywhere because we're still in COVID, and neither one of us has our second shot, which, by the way, we got our first shot yesterday, or Saturday, and no side effects. There were one where it was this arm, I couldn't lift it beyond this. So yesterday morning, now I can fly high. So that's all good. Then we gotta wait for our second shot. But, so we're not going anywhere, but it's just, you know, it's the mindset of knowing, oh, I'm gonna have 2 days where I'm not doing anything is kind of nice. So it's exciting. He's home on weekends. I never get to be home on weekends. Well, actually home mentally, and like just an entire day where I'm not thinking about what do I have to do tomorrow? What do I have to do today? So that's all going to be pushed aside, and it's just going to be kind of relaxing. Staycation, as my best friend calls it. She actually goes away to somewhere, but she lives at home with her mom, so it's like for her and her boyfriend to have anything of like an alone time, like just the two of them, they have to physically go somewhere. We live together. There's no one but the two of us and the dog, so it's like we don't physically have to go somewhere, but just having time together, I think, is also important, because that also doesn't happen. In the mix of busyness, sometimes I feel like the only time I see him is in the 15 minutes I'm up when he's up getting ready for work and leaves for work, and then maybe 2 hours when I come home before we go to bed. It's like, well, we live together, we don't see each other a whole lot. So that's another thing. It's like, how do you find time for you and your significant other? Even sometimes family. Like, I used to feel like that when I lived at home. I used to feel like I never saw my brother, I never saw my parents, I never saw anyone, because I'd leave before anyone was up, and I'd come home, and then half the house was asleep. Granted, there were 5 of us living in a house, so, and my brother was typically up, but he was always in his bedroom, so he's a gamer, so he plays Xbox a lot, and that's basically what he does. If he's not playing Xbox, he's watching Netflix or Hulu, one of those. He's in the, what is it? It's not millennial, it's Gen Z. Are you Gen Z? Mm-hmm. So it's Gen Z age. I like that fine line of millennial and Gen Z is like, I'm very much trying to figure that out, because he's a 2000s baby and I'm a late 96, not late, but like 90s baby. So it's like, where does the bridge fall between the two? So he's very much secluded to his room, and like if I was home and he was home, the only time I'd see him is when he wanted food or bathroom, obviously, because he had to come out for that. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it was like, at the beginning of COVID, it was kind of great because we were all home. So all we did was see each other. But at the same time, it's like, how do you kill each other? Not kill each other, right? So then I moved out, and now it's like, I feel like I still don't see anyone because I'm always busy. And it's like, how do you find time when you're always busy? You know, which I'm grateful to be busy, because I know there's some people where it's like, they're still trying to get off their feet from COVID, because COVID did a lot of damage mentally and physically. Sounds like a hurricane, right? And we're about to enter that season again, because it's almost May 1st. I hate hurricane season. I don't know about you. I hate it. Oh my God. So, I don't know about you, but I didn't get a whole lot of rain last night. Let me rephrase that. Going to bed, there wasn't a lot of rain. Before bed, yes, there was a lot of rain. But sometimes I always feel like the rain is worse in April than May to November. Sometimes. I feel like it feels like that. Like this morning, I took Buster out for his walk before I left, and I saw like a flash of light. I was like, was that lightning? And literally 10 seconds later, you hear boom, giant thunder. I was like, oh, okay, you're not going for a walk right now, because he's, you know, this little 20-pound dog, so a big jolt of thunder scares the crap out of him. Which, funny story about thunder, when I was little, my grandma used to always tell us, when you hear thunder, it's Grandpa making a strike. My grandfather loved bowling. So as little kids, you know, we were scared of thunder. So to kind of get the fear out of us, she used to be like, oh, just always think of it as Grandpa bowling. It was a little metaphor that we could put together in our brains. And like, you wouldn't be scared, because you just think, oh, Grandpa's having fun bowling. Obviously, I can't tell that to my dog, so he wouldn't understand that. He's a dog. But, you know, it's something that's always stuck with me, so I always think of it. And even as a young adult, you know, knowing the things that could happen, I feel like as far as thunderstorms and like anxiety, I feel like they go hand in hand now. Like, I actually have more fear of storms as an adult than I did as a kid, because I know what can happen. I know how bad they can get, and like the threats of, you know, a Category 5 hurricane coming in, or a 1, or how easily a 1 can turn into a 5, and vice versa. So it's like, I hate storms. I just hate hurricanes. I don't look forward to it. I even told my mom for Christmas, because I usually when it rains, I just throw a jacket over, like because I'm always cold. Anyone that knows me knows I typically have a jacket either in my arms, on me, or in my car. So I usually throw a jacket on when it's raining. And I told her, I said, I want a rain jacket. Like a jacket that can, you know, not like one of those rubber things, because those are annoying. But like, so I got this nice coat, like raincoat. And I finally actually wore it this morning because it was raining when I left my house. And it's nice. It was nice to not worry about having a wet jacket all day, because that was the only jacket typically whatever I wore in the rain, that was all I had. So I would just be wearing this wet jacket in a cold building. So it's kind of nice now to have a rain jacket. And I threw my actual jacket in my bag, and when I went inside, when I came here, I took the rain jacket off and had a nice rain jacket on. So that was nice. But yeah, that's my little spiel for the day. But going back to how things are now, it's funny, I see things that popped up from like a year ago, like, those Facebook memories and stuff. I'm like, wow, that was a year ago. And what was it? Oh, I saw my grandma this morning, and she said something about being at my aunt's she goes, long time ago when I was there. And she was talking about, she had, I think it was 2019, she went through scabies, which was kind of hard to see. If you've ever seen it, it's not a commonly known thing. But for some reason, fall of 19, it was the thing, because later on after she had it, my best friend had it. That was pretty funny. So what scabies is it's like it's kind of like a rash, but it spreads all over your body. And it's lumps on your skin, and it creates very, very dry skin. And so the lumps cause your skin to be dry, and then the lumps turn red, and they hurt. So we actually thought it was Grover's disease in the beginning. Grover's disease, there was absolutely no cure. Scabies, there is. There's like treatment creams that you can use to treat it. And so for her 90th birthday, we were supposed to go on the Jungle Queen, all as a family, because that was the celebration for her 90th birthday. And that morning, because she was going through this, what we thought was Grover's disease at the time, because Grover's disease and scabies are actually very similar. And so she was taking oatmeal baths, because oatmeal baths help soothe her skin. Oatmeal helps hydrate and soothe your skin. See, as I'm telling you, I'm itchy. Scabies is also very itchy. So it makes you itchy, and you can't stop scratching the bumps. So you get itchy, and then the itchiness turns into bumps, and then the bumps hurt, and then your skin is just dry. And it is awful. And so we thought it was Grover's. Grover's and scabies very similar, like I said. And so she's taking oatmeal baths, and she fell. Not fell, but she lost her balance because she was cleaning the tub, all the oatmeal out of the tub. And so she fell over the tub and broke 3 or 4 ribs, something like that. She's fine. Obviously, this is 2 years ago now. So obviously, we didn't end up going on Jungle Queen because she was in the hospital that night. And so we think she developed scabies from the hospital, because sometimes you can, get diseases or just get sick from being in the hospital, even though the hospital is supposed to be the cleanest place on the planet. Stuff happens. So that was 2 years ago. And in my mind, I was like, that's crazy that was 2 years ago. And what's even crazier is to think that we've been dealing with COVID for a year now. And so what she was basically telling me was because she was going through scabies, she basically needed 24-hour help. So she stayed at my aunt's for a couple months, because that's where the help was, because all her kids are grown and moved out, and this was actually during the summer, so she was home. She's a teacher. So she went there, and how I got talking about this was she was telling me this morning that because I found a rug in a shopping bag, and I said, why'd you buy a new rug? She goes, oh, because I told your aunt when I was there long, long, long ago, meaning 2 years ago, which I guess at this point feels forever, she threw it out because she ruined it, and she was going to replace it and never did, and 2 years later, here's a new rug. So But that's just grandma for you. Like, I don't know if any of you else have grandmas where it's like she'll randomly remember she was supposed to do something. Or this other thing that drives me absolutely nuts when I'm there is and my mom says she's always been like this. She'll start here with something. Like she might start cleaning this part of the counter. And then she'll remember, oh, I wanted to do this. Stop cleaning this part of the counter and go over here and do something else. Like she's so ADD, and it's so funny to watch her. She'll start making eggs. So I go over there in the mornings because the gym's right down the street from her house. So I change and shower there and then come to work and do my day-to-day thing. So I have breakfast with her. So she made pancakes yesterday or something. She had some leftovers, so she wanted me to have some pancakes. Pancakes is our thing. Lately it's been eggs though. So she pulled out a frying pan, put olive oil in it. Why she put olive oil in for eggs, I don't know, because she usually does butter. Anyway, so she turned that on. That was heating up. Then she pulled out the container with the pancakes in it and put 3 on, because there were 3 left. She put the 3 on a plate, put it in the microwave. And then she goes, what was I doing? Like, her mind goes blank. Like, sometimes she tries to do so many things at a time that she just forgets what she was doing. I don't know if that's an age thing or an ADHD thing, or both. But it is, I always say I want to put a camera on her because she is so funny. She's just so funny to watch. So, yeah. What else is going on? I figured this show we just kind of played catch up, check in, because, you know, like I said, I haven't done one in a while. I mentioned before I got my vaccine, and I know there's a lot of hesitation with it. I was hesitated too. Still kind of am. Got 1 down, 1 more to go. But to me, the need to do it was, there are many reasons actually. One being, I work in a mall. So it's like, I interact with people all the time. And people of all types, you know, and people that, you know, stay the nice 6 feet, and then people that come right up to me. And if they're wearing a mask, obviously they're supposed to, but sometimes people wear it wrong, or, you know, there was someone that came up to me and wasn't wearing one. And it was like, well, I'll take a step back, but I can only go so far, you know, before I run into something. So sometimes if they notice you take a step back, they'll take a step back, and that's nice. And other times it'll just go over their head, and it's like, well, you gotta deal with it. So, which isn't fun. So there's that. And I'm very close with my grandma, as you could see from this show and other shows. And the anxiety of going to see her, you know, she's fully vaccinated, thank God. But, you know, I could still be a carrier. So when I see her, the anxiety level is still very much there. So there were many reasons. And I have parents that are, you know, not like high risk, but like my mom's gonna be 60 this year. So it's like they have their issues and they're up there in age. And it's like, again, I enjoy going to see them and I don't wanna put them in harm's way. They also got their first shot. So, you know, it kind of, when it came down to it, for me, the fear of would it work, would it not work, just trusting science type of thing is what I had to do, what I did do. So we'll see. Like I said, my reactions have been fine, other than, you know, this arm. So when my dad did get it, the next day, he got on Tuesday, Wednesday I was there, and he came home from work and he was like, I just feel like I'm getting a cold. So, you know, Zach was like, well, you have a higher immune system than he does. And I said, yeah, but I mean, you know, genetics are kind of, you know, I'm a descendant of him, so I have his genes. So I figured if he had a reaction, then maybe I would. And he was like, well, how'd your mom react? And I said, I don't know, because when I called her, she was sleeping. And fun fact, I think it had something to do with the shot, because the day Zach and I got the same one, like the same type of shot, I'm not gonna, I think we got, what did we get? We got Pfizer. So I think it kind of makes you sleepy because when I tried to call my mom that day, she wouldn't answer, so I called my sister, which, funny, if you have siblings and, you know, obviously everyone still lives in the same house and you know they're home, it's like, let's see, who am I gonna call that's gonna answer the phone? So, you know, whoever, like say I'm trying to get a hold of my mom. So you call mom first, doesn't answer. You call dad, dad doesn't answer. You call Chloe, she usually answers. She usually has her phone either right next to her or in her hand because she does this thing where she dances, so her headphones are in her ears, so she can hear when she gets a phone call. She's usually the one that answers. But sometimes you gotta go down to the fourth one, which would be Andrew. Anyway, she said she was sleeping. And long story short, I actually never got the answer of how she reacted with day one, like the first shot. I'm assuming good because I never heard anything otherwise. But to remember that she was sleeping, and then later that day, Zach and I both felt very sleepy, like we took a nap, which never happens, which was nice. So I guess it makes you sleepy. But other than that, we were completely fine. We both, you know, went to work today. I worked yesterday. And I would say unless you have like parents that are, you know, older age or a grandparent that you're very close with, I would get it. I mean, I have friends my age that are, one that is getting it because she's got a high-risk dad, and the one that is, she's just unsure. And I'm like, well, that's fine, because, you know, you can't force someone to get it. If they don't want to get it, then you can't force them. It's not a mandatory thing. Is it helpful? Yeah. Should you get it? Yeah. But I mean, you can't force anyone. So, what are we at, 20?
Yeah, 22.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back. Small Talk is the show where we express ourselves with small randomness. We fill every show with something different. There is no topic too big or too small for us to cover. Our show doesn't have a real path that we follow, and that's what makes it fun to watch. So let's get to the show. You're watching Small Talk, the show where we express ourselves with small randomness. We fill every show with something different, and that's what makes our show so special. If you have something that's different or random that you would like to discuss, call us at 866-224-5422. Let's get back to the show. Hi guys, welcome back. So something else I remembered that's kind of near and dear to my heart. As you know, I have a sister with autism. I've shared that on the show many times. And April is Autism Awareness Month. So, although I don't do a whole lot, I did book Stacey Hoagland, who's been on the show a couple times, for the cafe show. And I think I'm going to reshare those two shows, so that way if you want to feel inspired about doing something, I know all month long they kind of do events. I think it's this weekend, there's a bike ride for Autism Awareness. We've participated in walks before, but we're not super big on, you know, participating in stuff like that. I actually tagged my mom in that bike run. I was like, oh, hey, you want to go on a bike run? I don't think it's going to happen. One, I don't have a bike. So I don't think we're doing that. But it's something that's near and dear to my heart. And if you don't know what it is, research it. It's different in every person. There's a lot of speculations that like shots as a young age cause it, which isn't proven at all. But autism is just something, it's special. It's not a disease. It's not something that can kill you. It's just a different way of life, really. My sister truly amazes me every day. she went with my dad. She's smart too. Like, they can be extremely smart. She went with our dad to get his first shot. He has this fear of needles. Fortunately, my mom couldn't go with him and I couldn't go with him. And I don't think my brother was up to go. So she went with him. And so she's smart because she knows that he has this fear of needles. So when I asked him how was it, he was telling me how she was talking to the pharmacist, because when you go to Walgreens to do the shot, the pharmacist gives you the shot. So while the pharmacist was giving him the shot, she was asking him all sort of questions. Does it hurt? I can't remember what else, but she was talking to the pharmacist, and while the pharmacist was giving my dad the shot, she was answering the questions, or he was answering the questions. So basically what she was doing was she was trying to distract my dad from what was happening in front of him. And he was like, I didn't feel anything. While he was answering her questions, he did the shot in like a matter of 10 seconds, however long it takes for them to give you the shot. I thought it was the funniest thing. And I told Zach about it later because he wasn't with me when I was talking to my dad. And he goes, she's real smart. I said, yeah. So if you ever run, like obviously most of the time you can tell if a person's autistic just because of their appearance. Their appearance is a little different obviously than like me. That's not to be said because every person is different, but like you can just tell. So, you know, don't be scared. It's not something like, oh, you could possibly get it by being near them. But it's, you know, most of the time they're really sweet. Depending on, they might be verbal or not. So if you try talking to them and they don't respond, don't be mad or offended because they're nonverbal. They don't speak. That's just a thing. It's not because they're stupid or can't comprehend what you're saying. They just don't speak, and that's fine. I've run into people before, and like their vocabulary is very minimal. And like another funny thing is usually depending on what they're wearing. Like I've seen a lot of usually girls. They're usually wearing a Disney shirt, so it's like, oh, talk to them about Disney. My sister's obsessed with Disney, by the way, and movies, and she'll know lines or to songs or movies that we go see in a theater before we've even, like, we'll go see a movie in the theater for the first time, and she'll be singing the song or rephrasing the lines, which can be annoying, so obviously we have to tell her to be quiet. But it's just funny because she watches trailers over and over and over. She finds scenes to movies on YouTube. So she'll sit there and recite them. She's super entertaining. So I guess the word of the week is autism. Oh, and another symbol that they usually use is a puzzle piece. Like I know Autism Speaks use a puzzle piece, but autism in general, they represent a puzzle because a puzzle, you try to solve it and sometimes you can't. Or, you know, it's just an unknown thing. That is Taylor's way of telling me that I have to wrap this up. So, like, I guess my moral of the story is don't be afraid if you run into someone that appears a little different. You know, it's just, it's a different way of life. It's a different way of seeing it through their eyes. Actually try to talk to someone, get to know them, like anything else, you know. I'll check you guys in next week. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll see. Think big, stay small, guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching our show with fun topics and random thoughts. Make sure to tune in next time for the new word of the week, along with new and exciting randomness. Till then, stay small, think big.